Today we are building an AI agent that's going to automate your entire life. Take a look at this. It's so cool. It's going to be working literally 24 hours per day to do all the heavy lifting that you don't want to do. This AI assistant can do really anything it is you want. Instead of just rambling on, let me show you what this looks like. So the first thing I want to do is activate the AI voice agent. Hi, I'd like to book a barbershop appointment between 2 to 5 p.m. tomorrow at my favorite barber, and can you ask if Tom is available, please? And so just like that, we're gonna send this message off. The first thing we're gonna do is transcribe that message into text. Then it's gonna call the right tool, which is checking our calendar to make sure we are available. Then once that's done, it's going to actually call that barbershop for us. Take a listen to how this sounds. So I'm gonna turn it on speaker.
Book a hair appointment.
Yeah, of course, how can we help?
I'm assisting Jono in booking a haircut appointment. We're aiming to schedule it between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. on February 15th. Do you have any availability during that time?
Yeah, we have some availability. 3 p.m. works.
Great. Could you please confirm that the appointment is scheduled for 3 p.m. on February 15th? Oh, and one more thing, is Tom available as the stylist for that timing?
Actually, you know what? Tom is available at 3 p.m., so we'll schedule you in for 3 p.m. And can I get a name, please?
That's perfect. Jono Smith will be coming in for the haircut. Thank you for your help. Will
Okay.
Jono receive a reminder of the appointment?
Yep, we'll send it over to him.
Thank you for your assistance.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Thanks, you too, bye-bye. So obviously, it kind of butchered my name. It's a Jono Smith. It's like the most generic name in the world. But anyways, that's pretty cool, right? It's the technology is almost there to be able to do this fully autonomously. And so just like that, we've booked this appointment, right? And the next step is once this appointment has been finished, we're gonna add that to our Google Calendar. And once it's in our Google Calendar, then we'll go back and notify us that everything's been taken place, right? So obviously, that's super, super cool. Let's go ahead, take a look, confirm that it is in our calendar, which we can see here. And if I circle back, we should have gotten that message back just saying, hey, everything's confirmed at this date and time. So that's just one of the many tools that we can do here. Now, the next thing that I want to do is talk about documents, right? So let's say, for example, we want to upload a document like a receipt or a contract and then automatically send that to Google Drive or to Google Sheets. Let's do that. Please upload this document to Google Drive and Sheets. And so just like that, we can enter that in to our messaging platform. And by the way, this can be Telegram, it can be Twilio, it could be WhatsApp, it could be whatever it is that you want. I'm just using Telegram because it's quite easy to set up here. And so once that's been officially uploaded, we're gonna take that document and then we're gonna run it through our AI agent one more time. And we're going to send it over to the right tool. Now this tool is going to take that document and it's going to upload that into our Google Drive account here. And we can see that document just coming in right now. And I'm actually going to take a look at this document, right? So there's a lot of information here and maybe we want to strip info off of this. So for example, maybe we want to take line items because there's just so many different line items here. And we can just take that data and we can insert that straight into a Google Sheet just like this. So in this example, I think I ran it like twice here and I forgot to clear it the first time. But essentially it's pulling in all of these additional line items and sending it straight into the Google Sheet, right? And so that's really, really cool. It's going to notify us that after it's been successfully uploaded that we've done it and we're good to go. Right? And so that's the second tool. Now moving on here, we can also manage our inbox. We can also manage our calendar invites all straight through this AI agent as well. So I'm going to go ahead and schedule a coffee appointment with Jono tomorrow at 2 p.m. Hey, can you please schedule an appointment with Jono for 2 p.m. tomorrow for coffee? Not only do I want you to send this or create a calendar invite, but please send him an email confirming as well. And so we're going to send that message off. It's going to transcribe that message, send it to the right AI agent. The first thing that we want to do is first of all, take a look at our Google Calendar, make sure that everything's confirmed and we're actually available at that time. And then it's going to create that particular Google Calendar event and then send off an email to Jono notifying him. So we have the Google Calendar event scheduled here. Let's go over to our inbox. And we also have our coffee appointment confirmed as well. And you'll notice here that I literally didn't even put in an email address. It pulled out that email address just by me saying the name Jono. How cool is that, right? That's really, really powerful stuff. We're gonna be going into how to build that out in this tutorial. I'm just gonna showcase a couple more things here. And the next thing is of course, if you want to manage maybe tasks or all that kind of stuff, we can do that straight through Airtable. So I'm gonna go ahead and this time type out a message instead of saying it. Please create a task in Airtable to go to the gym tomorrow. I'll send this off and it's going to call the correct tool, which is Airtable, and it will create that task for me here, right? And then it's going to notify me that everything is good to go and it's sent off. Let's take a look at Airtable and we can see this next task here, which is to go to the gym. But maybe I'm like, man, like I'm feeling kind of lazy today. I gotta change this priority to high because I know if I change it to high, well, then I'm definitely gonna go. And so we can come back here and follow up and say, please change the priority to high. And just like that, it's gonna actually do a couple things. It's going to remember the record ID and then it's going to update that. So we're actually building in storage, memory, all of that kind of stuff. And it's now changed that priority over to high. Now, the last thing that I want to showcase here is that we can do tons of things on social media as well. So the last thing I'm going to say here is, please generate me a blog post about the rise of AI agents. Once again, the rise of AI agents. So we'll send that off. And it's lastly going to go to our social media posting tool here. And it's going to go ahead and generate a blog post for us. Now keep in mind that we do not just have to create blog posts, we can also create posts on X or LinkedIn or WordPress or whatever it is that we want to generate posts on. Let's go back and we can see that the blog post has been created and we've sent a message back to ourselves. Let's take a look at this and we can see our blog post titled "The Rise of AI Agents, Transforming Our Interaction with Technology." So that's obviously really cool. We could obviously upload that into WordPress or send that to wherever we want, maybe even Medium as a blog posting platform as well. And so this is such a powerful AI agent. It could potentially run your life. Of course, these are just 6 incredibly useful tools, but you could literally just hit this plus button and add on any tools outside of this scope that you want to add on, and maybe even expand this to double or triple the size and just run every single part of your life. It's like having a mini AI virtual assistant that's just going to help you with all of the heavy lifting, with all the tasks that you probably hate spending time doing. If you guys want this particular blueprint and all of the additional 6 other blueprints as to how to build this out, it's all going to be free in the description below. All you have to do is download the blueprints, come into your n8n account, hit these 3 dots in the corner, and you're going to import from file all of the blueprints, and you'll have this in a matter of seconds. We're going to be talking about how to build this out from the start all the way to the finish line, so that if you guys do decide to use this, you know exactly how to set this up, tweak it, and make it optimized for your use case scenario. Let's get into it. Just before jumping into the workflow, I want to let you guys know that I just released my Skool community yesterday. So if you guys are interested in learning more about AI and automation, get direct help from me, whether you're stuck with problems, you want to learn from over 100 unreleased videos, or you want to jump on live weekly group calls and just be surrounded by a network of amazing people that love automation, this is the place for you. So let's dive into actually building this out. So the first thing is that we have this Telegram trigger here, and this is essentially saying, hey, when we receive a message in Telegram, let's go ahead and start this particular workflow. Now, you don't just have to use Telegram. You could use WhatsApp as well, or you could use Twilio. Now, Twilio is just a software platform to allow you to send like text messages and receive text messages. So that's another option too. I just happen to use Telegram here just because it's way faster and way easier just to get your foot in the door and get this up and running really quickly. Now, essentially what we're doing here, just at a 40,000 foot view, is we're taking this Telegram message and we're sending this into the AI agent, right? Now, the thing is that we are receiving multiple different messages. So it could be a text message here, it could be an audio message, and it could also be a document, right? And so the thing is that we need to treat these differently. So if it's an audio message, the first thing is we need to get the file. we're going to need to then transcribe that file and turn it from audio into text. If it's a text file, luckily there's not much we have to do. And then also if it's a document, there's not too much we have to do. Now the only problem is that we need to use this merge field here to essentially get the data into this field here, this text field. Now the problem is that all three of these fields, whether it's the documents or the audio files or the text, they all give these different keys here. And so that's problematic because we need this to all be one standard key. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to reference the data properly, right? And so how we do that is through the merge field. So I'm going to switch over to my Blackboard here and just show you guys what this looks like, because I think it's a bit easier if I write this out. So we have three different data types here. We have documents, we have audio files, and this is supposed to be a phone, but you know, my writing's absolutely horrible. And then we have text here, right? And we are sending these into a merge field here. And this merge field is essentially where we get the data, and then we send it into the AI agent, right? And the AI agent needs to take the data in a certain way. And that certain way is through a key value pair. And that key is called text here, right? So if we zoom out and we go back, we can go into the AI agent and we can take a look and see that the key here is text. So we need to put it in here. And we need it to be standardized across all three fields, whether it's a document, audio, or text file. And so how we do that is we're just essentially switching the keys here. So this key is coming in as caption. This key is it's not even giving us a key, it's just giving us an audio message. And this is giving us a key of text. And what we're doing is we're taking all these keys and we're merging it together into one key. And we're saying, hey, no matter where it's coming from, we're changing the key to text. So no longer is this going to be caption, it's going to be text. No longer is this going to be an audio, it's going to be text. No longer is it, well, this is going to stay the same and be text. So no matter where the data is coming from, right, it's all going to land right here so that we can proceed forward with a standardized field, which is the text field, enter that into this particular AI agent, and now we have the same text, no matter where the data is coming from, document, audio file, or text field. Inside this AI agent, we have a system message, which essentially just goes through and labels all of the tools and talks about how to call them. So for example, call the book hair appointment tool to book a hair appointment at the barbershop. Before calling this tool, please call the calendar tool to take a look at my calendar availability so that I don't book a conflicting event. Pass in my calendar appointments for the next 2 weeks just to make sure, you know, if the AI agent calls that calendar or that barbershop, they have my availability for 2 weeks, so there's no conflicts going on. And so on and so forth. So this is just essentially the instructions. We have rules down here as to what to do and what not to do. This is all going to be in the blueprints if you guys want to download this for free. And then once we, with the AI agent tool, we're essentially sending the output back to Telegram. So once we get a response from this, we're sending it back to Telegram. In terms of this AI agent, there's three components to it. There's the chat model. You can think about this like the brains of it. This is like a mini ChatGPT, which sends messages, retrieves messages, and processes things. So it's like the brain behind the operation, understanding what to do next. And then we have this memory section here, which is just providing memory for past messages. And so why this is important is because let's say we all of a sudden wanted to update this particular task here. So we created in one step and then we want to go back and update it. With the memory, we're going to remember that we already created it. We're going to remember the record ID, and then we're going to be able to retrieve that record ID to change, for example, the priority from medium to high, right? And so that's where the memory comes in so that we have access to past messages and we can adapt the conversation accordingly. And so we also have all these tools here. Now these tools are really powerful. Let's go through all of them together, just as a brief overview. So the first one is a calculator. In case you want to do math or anything like that, it's just built in native. There's really nothing else that you need to do. Then let's go over to this voice assistant. So with this voice assistant, it's more or less just a few nodes here. The first thing is we have the trigger here, which is when executed by another workflow, it's going to start. So essentially, more or less, this is only saying that, hey, this workflow starts when it's being called to start by another workflow. So only start this when another AI agent like this says, hey, we want to start this tool. And so when we start it, we're going to do something called an HTTP request. Now, an HTTP request is, you can simply think of it like literally doing anything, like sending something to Google Drive or to Google Sheets or to Airtable. The only difference between these is that with Google Calendar, they actually have the built-in integration here. Like you can just select like, tools in Google Calendar. But the thing is not all of these applications have like native integrations, and that's where HTTP requests come in, because all of these things technically are HTTP requests. It's just that instead of having native integration, we actually have to build the integration ourselves, and that's where an HTTP request comes in, because we're essentially building this ourselves. And so with this, all we have to do is, if you download the blueprints, you really don't have to really change anything other than just swapping out your authorization key here, right? This is something that you can get in VAPI. We're using VAPI here, which is a AI voice agent that can essentially do your calling for you. And so that's more or less all you have to change out here. Everything else is going to work outside of the box. The only other thing that you may want to do here is just switch out this JSON. And so if I log into my VAPI account here and I go to the dashboard, you're going to have to sign up. You can get a free account and do most of this for free. All you have to do is change a couple different keys here. So once I log in here, you'll see that I have this phone number key here, right? And we just need to place this ID in here. And how we get that ID is if we go into phone numbers in VAPI and we just get this ID key right here, we can just paste that in, or you can add phone numbers and there's always going to be an ID key there. The next thing is that we have this assistant ID, which is right here. And again, you can just choose like the assistant or the voice or all that kind of stuff. And so you can create as many assistants as you want here, and then that ID is going to be here. Ava and a phone number are going to come by default in VAPI, so you can just plug and play this in like 2 seconds once you create your account. And then you'll just want to choose the number that you're wanting to call. And lastly, you're going to want to put in the first message, which is essentially when that call goes through, what's the first thing they're going to say? And in this case, Ava said, hey, I'd like to book a hair appointment. And then the context down here, which you can just think of like a classic prompt where you're just essentially saying, hey, this is what I want it to do, right? And I'm passing in additional variables like book a time between this time and this time, right? Because if you're booking a hair appointment, obviously you're not going to know exactly when they're available. So you want to give them a time range to work with, and so on and so forth. So this is essentially the prompt that I've gone ahead and created here. Now, once we have triggered this is going to start the call, right? And the problem is that with this section here, we need to wait until that call is done. And there's a lot of different ways to do this. I just found that this was the easiest way using n8n. And so what we're doing is we're essentially having another HTTP request waiting for that call to come in. And once that call has been completed, we're going to retrieve everything. We're going to get the call log, we're going to get everything from it, and then we're going to return that. But the issue is that this call could take 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes. And so what we're doing is we're just setting up a wait section here where it waits 5 seconds. And if the call has not been completed, it's going to request again to see if it's been completed. If it hasn't been completed in 5 seconds, it's going to wait another 5 seconds and then keep going through this loop until this call has returned back saying, hey, it's been successful. We have ended the call. And once that is complete, then it's going to finish the call, wrap it up, and then send it back to our main AI agent here. And so that's essentially how this AI call or voice agent works. And you can have one voice agent here. You could have 20 voice agents here. If you wanted to get super technical, I'm sure that you could pretty much incorporate 20 different variants of AI agents within this one module here, and then tell it, hey, this is for hair appointments, and this is for I don't know, calling, whatever the case may be, right? So that's so bad. I can only come up with one example right now. But anyways, moving on. The next one here that I want to talk about is actually uploading documents into Google Drive, just like this document here, right? And so how I built this is, again, it's being called by the main workflow here. So when we send a message through Telegram, that's being received in the documents workflow, right? So this is calling sub workflows. Then it's going to start this. First thing I want to do is I want to get that file. So we're essentially passing through the ID of the file from Telegram. So message comes in. In this message, it's going to store the ID. We're going to pass that to the tool here. And then once it's in this workflow, we're going to download the file based on the ID that we had. And we got this ID again because, well, we had to upload it to Telegram here. So it's being passed in here all the way into this workflow. And then we're going to upload that to Google Drive. We're going to download it again from Google Drive, because when we download it from Google Drive, it gives us the right format that we're looking for, which is this output here, which is like an actual binary document. And then we're going to extract the text from that PDF file, and we're going to turn it into like JSON data here pretty much. And so once we have text here, and once we have all this text, then we're going to run it through ChatGPT. And we're essentially just going to say, hey, I want you to pull out all the necessary information. And you can structure this in any way you want, right? There's a million and one ways to do it. But essentially, we have 3 messages here. The system message you can think of as instructions. So I'm just saying, hey, you're an intelligent bot at extracting data from documents. The second message is a user message. And this user message is essentially saying, hey, this is the input. So user message is the input. This is what I want you to do. So I want you to take these line items, or we want to take this information out of this document. And then lastly, and most importantly, we have an assistant message. And you can think of the assistant message as the output. So system message is the information or the context. User message is the input. Assistant message is the output. And we're just essentially saying, hey, we want you to structure this in JSON data, and this is essentially exactly how I want you to structure it. If you guys are unfamiliar with JSON, no problem. This is super easy. All you have to do is head over to ChatGPT, and you're going to effectively just ask it, can you please generate me JSON data for an invoice, right? And it's going to give you JSON data, and all you have to do is hit this copy button. And if maybe you don't want the due date, you can just remove this and copy it and put it back into your section here, and then you can customize the data that you're pulling out. If you're like, hey, I want to add something in here, you just say, hey, can you add in this additional thing? Can you add the date in, or whatever? Can you add the due date? And then it'll pull that in, and you can use that here, and it'll pull out that data, and then you can push that into a Google Sheet just like this, right? And so how we're doing this is, once we've pulled out the correct data, it's going to look like this on the side here. Schema might be a bit easier to look at, but essentially what we're doing here is we have this array, and an array is just a fancy way of saying a list, and this is what an array looks like in n8n. And an array is just a list. You can think of it like a grocery list. I'm going to the grocery store and I'm going to buy apples, bananas, oranges. Same kind of deal, but instead of this, the list is going to be line items of this document. So we have a list of all of these line items: DJ service deposit, DJ travel deposit, DJ parking deposit. We're going to pull out each one and add them into this. And we're going to do that one by one. And so we have this data, and the split out is an iterator. What an iterator does is it takes that list of 9 line items and it goes through it one by one. First, we're going to do this one. Once that's been added to the sheet, then we're going to do this one, added to the sheet. Then we're going to do this one, and so on and so forth until it's all done and added into the Google Sheet. Now, the next subflow that I want to talk about here is the Google Calendar appointment. And so we have this Google Calendar agent here as well that essentially manages our entire calendar. It allows us to add the coffee appointment onto the calendar, the barbershop appointment. It allows us to delete it, update it, all of that kind of stuff. And so how this works, this is really cool, is again, it's called from the main agent. These are all called from the main agent. And then we're going to take a look and see, hey, are you providing us with a name? And so if we look at the data here, maybe it's providing us with a name here. And it's like, hey, I want you to add this person as an attendee onto this event. Well, you can simply just pass in the name. And the first thing it's going to do is it's going to pull that name in, and it's going to search for that contact in Google Contacts. So I'm just going to run this to load in some data here. And you can see that essentially it's like saying, hey, invite Jono for coffee at 5 p.m. Jono. And as long as you have these contacts in your Google Contacts, it will find that person based on their name here. And you can see here it pulled in the data, gave me my email here and my name and all that kind of stuff. And then I can just add that person onto that Google Calendar event. I literally just created another one here, and I just added myself as a guest onto it via that email. So that's really cool stuff. And with this, we can update events, right? We can delete events, we can get all events, we can create events, we can create it with attendees, all of that kind of stuff, right? And so this is kind of like a sub AI agent. So you have one main AI agent that is now communicating with a sub AI agent, and we're sending data or tasks to this AI agent to complete. So you can see here, it's like sending a message, invite Jono for coffee at 5 p.m. tomorrow. And here's the person. And then it's gonna send that data to this, right? And essentially we have our own system instructions here, just saying, hey, these are all the tools to call and what to do and how to use it. Just make sure that the current data is now, and here's the attendee that we're going to invite in case they're there as well. And so again, we can do all different types of stuff with this. We can update events, we can create, delete, all that kind of stuff. And why this is so cool is because it's so easy to do this, because you're not even like having to deal with data management and adding things in here. You're literally just using for everything in this entire series or this entire like video. I'm just using from AI. And so all we're doing here is we're just saying we're passing in like a memory key, which you can see here, right? And this memory key is just going to remember like what we're doing, and it's going to pass in addition to having ChatGPT here with the brains kind of actually like processing all the data, it's just going to do the heavy lifting for us. We say, hey, I want you to find the event ID. It says, sure, no problem, we'll find the event ID for you. Hey, I want you to find the end time. Sure, no problem, we'll find the end time. Same thing with start time. And so like literally it just goes through and it grabs all the information, and it does this for updating all the way through until creating an event with an attendee. Now the next thing is very similar with Gmail in that we're essentially doing the same thing. Every function that you could possibly have in Gmail is here, whether we're sending an email, replying to an email, we're labeling emails, we're creating drafts, getting many emails, getting labels, marking as unread. We also have this section up here so that in case you want to, in case you dump all your contacts in Google Contacts here, you can just search by them, right? And it's literally just going to pull the person in based on their name. You're going to get their email and you're going to be able to fire this off. No longer do you have to go into Telegram and be like, I want you to email Jono at photokings.ca, because that kind of defeats the purpose. It's like, who's going to remember like 50 different emails? That's crazy. Nobody does that. I don't even know my phone number. I'm just kidding. I know my phone number. So yeah, that's essentially how the Gmail module works here. And the next thing here is Airtable. Same kind of deal. We're essentially just doing a bit of everything, right? So Subflow is triggered based on the main AI agent here calling Airtable. And then once this is called, we're going to either get records, create records, update, delete, or search, right? And so this is another AI agent where we're giving us a set of instructions, and it's just following those instructions. Do we want to search for things? Do we want to update? Do we want to delete? What is it that we want to do? And then that automatically plugs into this particular Airtable database right here. So obviously super cool. And then the last thing here is social media management. So again, it's being called from the main AI agent here, right, in the social media posting tab. And then from here, essentially, we're just doing a couple things. We're just essentially trying to figure out, hey, what do you want us to do? Are you looking for us to create a Twitter post or a LinkedIn post or a blog post? And then it's going to go off and essentially generate the content for that particular platform and then post it here. Now, I didn't go through the process of adding in X or LinkedIn here, so you guys are going to have to do that if you want this. I just don't use this, but I wanted to put it in there just to showcase that this is possible. Same thing with WordPress too. And so you can do all these kind of things. So if you want to generate all of these different posts automatically using AI straight from Telegram or straight from whatever platform it is and send it over, you can of course do all of that. And essentially, in a nutshell, that is how you can set up this AI agent to run your life and do everything. Of course, there's a lot of things that it can do. There's also a lot of things that you could add on to make it do, right? I'm sure your use case is probably pretty unique and you can add on whatever it is you want. And yeah, hopefully this can just save you so much frickin' time. I think that this is definitely the future, you know, having an AI assistant that just does all the heavy lifting from all the tasks that you probably hate doing and all the tasks that are time consuming as well, right? And so the cool thing is that even though this is technical and challenging and hard to set up, if you do it one time, then you can have something that essentially works for an entire lifetime, right? And think about the return on investment of setting something up one time and then using that technology and improving it over the next 10 years. It's obviously incredibly powerful. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found value in this video. If you guys want to download these blueprints, all of them are going to be free. All you have to do is come in and first of all, they're in the description. Just go ahead, download them. And then you can hit these three dots in n8n, import the file, and then it's pretty much yours. So thanks for watching, guys, and leave any questions down below in the comment section if you have any. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.